Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the Short Sports Show. I'm your host, Daniel Short. Today is Monday, March 31st, 2014, the last day of March before we go into April. And today is opening day. Baseball, opening day. Last night we had opening night, for the Dodgers. They had that Australia thing before, so it's all good. But my Dodgers lost last night, so I'm kind of hurt by that. But also today we will be talking about in this episode is the DeSean Jackson Sweepstakes begin today. DeSean Jackson visits the Washington Redskins and multiple teams interested. Will he get a deal done with the Redskins, or will he just go visit other teams and, all the other good stuff? So we'll check on that. Also, the final four teams are in. Is your bracket completely busted? Because mine, it's a goner. It's completely gone. But first, we will talk about some college football news. First, former LSU quarterback Stephen Rivers, the younger brother of San Diego Chargers quarterback Phillip Rivers, will transfer to Vanderbilt. Also, bad news for the Utah Utes as linebacker Jacoby Hale suffered a torn ACL earlier last week. As a redshirt junior in 2013, he had 6.5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, all in just 9 games last season. This guy, I don't know why no one really talked about him, but this guy shows he's got a lot of potential, and sadly, he's going to be hurt. So probably, if he has to miss the season, we'll just get a medical red shirt and be able to come back. But bad news for them because, at only 9 games last season, 6.5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, that shows this guy's got tons of potential. Also, Colorado State running back Donnell Alexander asked to be released from his scholarship. Reason is because he wants to come back home and play, which is in Kansas City. He is the son of NFL Hall of Famer, Derek Thomas. Donnell has 428 yards last season and was expected to be the starting running back coming into camp this year, but now will be transferring. The Rams head coach said that wouldn't count him out, wouldn't say that he won't play for the Rams again, but he did ask to be released from a scholarship. It was granted, and, out of school basically now. So we'll have to see about that. And Texas A&M not really getting any good news coming their way. It was another suspension for Texas A&M. This time it was quarterback Kenny Hill. He was suspended after being arrested for public intoxication. He was passed out at a bar and was able to, was bailed out afterwards. But he was competing for a starting quarterback job along with Kyle Allen and Matt Jokel, all there. And Kenny Hill I've been following him since he was at South Lake Carroll, in Corpus Christi Carroll. And it's just, this guy has a lot of talent. And I believe he could, if he could put this behind him and doesn't get suspended, for too much longer. Comes back, just was suspended indefinitely. Should come back. If he's able to get his act together, it'll be interesting to see how he can compete, coming into camp, because I really think he's got a lot of talent to take over the starting job. But we'll just have to see. And I really hope Kenny Hill can get it back together. He was actually, I believe, beginning of his senior year, he was either committed or very close to a verbal commitment to TCU, and I had been following him. And then that's, Texas A&M and Johnny Manziel decided to get good one year, and kabam, he was committed to Texas A&M. So we'll see how that goes. But basically it for college football news. Moving on to the NFL, and this is where it gets exciting. One quick thing: there's 38 more days to the NFL draft. That's a good thing. It's a good thing. Time is getting there. Now we got baseball going on, so hopefully that'll make time and the days go by faster. But the major news is DeSean Jackson. It's going to be major news throughout the entire time until he signs, and once he signs, that'll even be major news. So first is DeSean Jackson will meet with the Redskins today. The Raiders and the Bills are among teams that have serious interest in DeSean Jackson, and there are talks right now saying that there's a few mystery teams out there, including the Detroit Lions, saying that they might be in the hunt for DeSean Jackson. Now, just imagine if the Lions did get DeSean Jackson. You would then have Calvin Johnson, DeSean Jackson, not only having Reggie Bush out there, and then Brandon Pettigrew being at your tight end position. You got a really good looking offense, and hopefully Ryan Broyles can get better and healthy. That's a pretty solid wide receiver core. Oh, and I just forgot Golden Tate with the Lions now. You're setting up one heck of an offense right there. And it'll take so much more pressure off Calvin Johnson. He's always going to get that, those two defender looks at him, but still, defenses are going to have to adjust to looking at Golden Tate out there in the slot. Obviously, DeSean Jackson, if he's there, they got to focus on him on those vertical routes, stop and goes. And then you also, if Ryan Broyles can get healthier and he takes a step forward, bam, you got another wide receiver right there. And then Brandon Pettigrew being at your tight end position. It would be very difficult for defenses to look at, and it would take the Lions up a notch tremendously. The Packers defense, they're not going to be that good. Bears defense right now is in question on how well they can be if Jared Allen is even going to, be able to be the same Jared Allen that we've seen in the past few years. The Vikings defense hasn't been good. The Lions could take a huge, no more giving up leads, because now you can score points with so many different players. It'd be very interesting to see, and also it would help the Lions. I know I'm talking too much on the Lions, but it would help the Lions in their NFL draft. Instead of looking at a Mike Evans at a wide receiver position or any wide receivers, they could then go look at a cornerback, Jason Verrett, Justin Gilbert from Oklahoma State. That helps their defense get better. So obviously a lot, but it all comes down to the one thing, and that's money. Money. And honestly, if DeSean Jackson is all about money, the Oakland Raiders are the place to go, or at least the Raiders would be then the favorite. The Raiders, it's weird. I've looked at my Facebook page, and it's funny to see how I have apparently a lot of Oakland Raider fans that like the page. And I'm thinking, who would ever thought an Oakland Raider fan would like listening to a San Diego Chargers fan show? I'm a Chargers fan. I don't like the Raiders. Doesn't mean I don't like my fans. I love my fans. But I'm just saying, if the Raiders did get DeSean Jackson, that would be pretty intimidating. I'm not going to say scary. I'm just going to say intimidating, because DeSean Jackson, what he brings to the table is unique and different. And for the Raiders, you got Matt Schaub now at your starting quarterback position for who knows how long. He could throw a few pick sixes, and then next thing you know, we got Matt McGloin stepping in, because it looks like Terrell Pryor's on his way out of Oakland. So, you're looking at that. If Oakland gets a quarterback in the draft, who knows who steps up from there. Because I really feel that quarterback position is not fulfilled or not set. It's not there all the way. As looking at the Raiders, I would not believe Matt Schaub starts the entire season, every game. And I'm not talking about him having injuries. I'm talking about if no injuries, just playing ability. I think he probably gets replaced pretty midway through, late into the season. That's just how it's been for the Raiders. But anyways, DeSean Jackson to the Raiders would be, intimidating because of what they can bring. I still think they need more weapons out there. I know they have Maurice Jones-Drew, which I believe he can have a pretty solid season, even though he's going to be mixed in with Darren McFadden. I still think both of them could bring something to the table for the Raiders. But, that would be an interesting thing. DeSean Jackson bringing him back to California, that could be something going back home. And that gives the Raiders an advantage as well, and especially having the second most cap space in the NFL. The Raiders can pay DeSean Jackson the money that he wants. Bills are another team. The Bills have come out, showing good amount of interest in DeSean Jackson, and that would be another spot I would love to see DeSean Jackson go to. I still have faith in E.J. Manuel to be the starting quarterback and lead the team to 8+ wins a season. I really do. And I mean, the talent that he has around the team, I could see it building up. The chemistry getting better. The defense is getting better. It just shows a lot of potential for the Buffalo Bills. And having DeSean Jackson would take so much weight off the pressure off of, Stevie Johnson. If Goodwin can step up, Marquise Goodwin. There's another receiver that I'm forgetting his name. Oh, this is terrible. Who's the other receiver for the Bills? I don't know. Pop up in my head probably in just a little bit. But either way, the Bills having DeSean Jackson in there would help them tremendously. And they ran the ball the most in the NFL. So if they could get their running backs going with C.J. Spiller out there, they signed another running back in free agency who I believe I can't remember his name now. But anyways, it's the Bills. DeSean Jackson going to the Bills would be interesting to see as well. But right now, meeting with the Redskins today, and apparently there was a report that DeSean Jackson is in deep negotiations with a, quote, mystery team. So even though he's with the Redskins, apparently he's already been talking to other people, which he could have been already. And they're in negotiations, and he hasn't even met with the team. This is the first team he's met with since being released, overall. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where DeSean Jackson's going to go. The rumors are going to go everywhere. But the Chiefs and the Panthers are out. They have said that they are out. They are not going after DeSean Jackson. But who knows? It's going to be interesting to following this DeSean Jackson sweepstakes. But moving on, Chris Johnson, Titans running back Chris Johnson. We've been hearing for about a few weeks now that he's been wanting to get released, traded. He would take a pay cut to get traded to any team. And a team that's popped out is the New York Jets. The reason is the Jets, if they cannot get DeSean Jackson, they're already in need of a running back. The Jets have wanted to get Donald Brown, who later signed with the San Diego Chargers. They wanted to get MJD, who signed with the Raiders. And they still need a running back position, to help out. So now focus is on Chris Johnson. Either trading for him, or if the trade doesn't happen, and they might be waiting because they feel that the Titans are just going to cut Chris Johnson, then going out in free agency, picking him up. And, it'd be interesting to see Chris Johnson as a New York Jet. Chris Johnson has had 1,000+ rushing yards every season he's been in the NFL, including a 2,000-yard rushing season. So would you see Chris Johnson? Would you like to see Chris Johnson in a New York Jets uniform? How would he be paired up with, having Michael Vick or Geno Smith, who's ever's there? I like the Jets running back, Powell, whatever his last name is, guy from Temple. That guy is a legit running back. I have faith in him. I think he could be an every down back. Just given the right opportunity, I really think he could be. But Chris Johnson not being a Tennessee Titan, most likely the odds of him being a Tennessee Titan beginning of the 2014 season are very, very low chance. Very low chance of him being a Titan. But being a Jet, that would be interesting. So we'll have to see. But if the Jets could, and this is probably the most unrealistic thing, but imagine the Jets with Eric Decker, Michael Vick now, or Geno Smith, who's ever the starting quarterback, having DeSean Jackson thrown in there, along with Jeremy Curley, and then having Chris Johnson. That's an offense that's pretty intriguing right there. I would like to see that. It won't happen because there's not enough money to get Chris Johnson and DeSean Jackson. And there's probably not enough money for the Jets to even just get DeSean Jackson alone. But it would be interesting to see that type of offense. Moving on, the 49ers, who are also a team that's looking at DeSean Jackson. Again, that would be interesting. But anyways, they're also looking at cornerback Champ Bailey, due to the fact that the cornerback Chris Culliver had that hit and run incident, and he's looking like he's going to be gone. They are looking for cornerback help, and hoping to get Champ Bailey. That would be awesome to see Champ Bailey, and I think it would be a smart move for Bailey's part, because knowing the 49ers are going to be in the playoffs next season, knowing that you're going to get wins, and you got a shot at the Super Bowl again. And man, I really felt bad. Now, I was happy the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, but I really felt bad for Champ Bailey. Now, I didn't want the Broncos to win it because, that would add another Super Bowl, and I don't like the Broncos. But I really wanted Bailey to get one because he deserves one. He's one of those players that just, they deserve a Super Bowl because of how they played. He's a Hall of Famer. Has never had issues off the field. Champ Bailey's that guy that needs a Super Bowl to just add to his resume. And if he goes to the 49ers, he's got a really good chance of winning one. But also, I'd like to see Champ Bailey possibly look at the Seattle Seahawks, if the Seahawks could look at him. Take the veteran minimum. Bam, Champ Bailey, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor. I'm just saying, it might be pretty solid. It might be pretty solid out there. But some other quick signings that happened over the weekend. New England Patriots re-signed center Ryan Wendell to a 2-year contract up to $8.15 million. Former Miami Dolphins safety Chris Clemens signed a deal with the Houston Texans worth $2.7 million, includes $450,000 in guaranteed money. Former Patriots running back LeGarrette Blount signed a 2-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The deal is reportedly $3.85 million, including a $950,000 signing bonus, but the financial terms were not officially released. These are just what a source came out to say. But the signing of LeGarrette Blount for the Pittsburgh Steelers is, I'm gonna, if you put it on a scale of 1 to 10, and 10 being the greatest, I'm gonna say an 8, just because you already have Le'Veon Bell, who I watched when he was in college. Sadly, his last game against for Michigan State was against my TCU Horned Frogs. And he was one of just 2 running backs, or one of 3 running backs that season, had rushed over 100 yards over TCU's defense. And you obviously have to give respect to that. And sadly, he also won. But I like Le'Veon Bell. He's got that power. He's that Pittsburgh Steelers running back. And adding LeGarrette Blount, who had 772 yards last season for the Patriots, is going to be a real 1-2 strong running backs right there that's going to wear down defense. This is what Pittsburgh Steelers are going back to the old days. Big power backs, running downhill, still getting the yardage that you need, and Le'Veon Bell's got those moves to make those cuts. So does Blount, showing that, he's got 772 yards. I mean, he shows that he could still not only lay the hits, but gain those extra yardage. So this is a really, really good deal for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If I'm a Steelers fan, I'm excited to have those 2 be my 1-2 running backs and moving forward for the Steelers. So here are quick little things. Cleveland Browns. Derek Carr is expected to work out for the Browns on Monday, and the Browns somehow are just fascinated with Derek Carr. Now, I don't do too much of the mock drafts other than that one video I made, just my top 10 picks. But Derek Carr and Blake Bortles, I'm not a fan of those 2 quarterbacks. Just because they look like those quarterbacks that come out of college that we see. They're always rated pretty high, and when it comes to the NFL, they don't make it. Now, for Derek Carr's case, I don't see him. I see him as a solid backup to just a bust. More of a Matt Castle. He could be a Matt Castle. Matt Castle, I wouldn't say is a bust because he wasn't highly rated coming out of college. But, I see Derek Carr, comparing him to Matt Castle, where he gets a playing time here and there, but, just really can't amount to anything too high. Especially for Derek Carr's case, if they're looking at him in a first rounder, especially a top 5 pick, the number 4th overall pick for the Browns, that's a bust because I don't see him being that great. And it has nothing to do with his brother being a huge bust. It has nothing to do with that. The way I look at him, I just don't see him being able to make those top steps to get better. Especially watching throughout the season at Fresno State, they were ranked pretty high. Then they lost the game, and then they played the bowl game against USC, and he looked terrible. He looked bad against a pretty bad USC defense. He looked very bad, and lost the game. What was it, 45 to 20 something? Don't quote me on the score, but it was bad. It was bad. But anyways, Browns head coach Mike Pettine said, quote, if I said his last name right, I really don't know. He's just, Browns, I don't know what they're doing with the coaching situation. Anyways, quote, I think he's the best natural thrower as far as arm strength. And when you're looking at a guy, a natural thrower in the draft, he's very physically gifted. And a lot of times it's hard to bet against the family history as well. You're talking about like a Jake Matthews. That is the old don't bet against genetics. I think he certainly falls into that category as well. End quote. One, I don't know who Jake Matthews is. That's just my fault. I just don't know. But if he's reading it says you don't bet against family history. All right, so you're saying that. So you're looking at a David Carr, and you're thinking David Carr, top pick in the draft. Texans kind of sucked. Actually, a lot sucked. Was a bust. So you're basically saying if you're not, you don't bet against it, and you're comparing them, it's like, whoa, You're basically saying David Carr and Derek Carr kind of the same, and since they both made it to the NFL, that I don't know. I just don't see Derek Carr as being a top quarterback. But let me know what you guys think about Derek Carr. Do you think he could be, the guy that could step in for the Browns? The Browns is every report that we see for the Browns on their draft, we're seeing Derek Carr, as if it's pretty official that they're going to get Derek Carr. I don't see Derek Carr making it, being the top quarterback or being a starting quarterback for the Browns. I'm not saying he won't be if they draft him. I think he probably has a good chance of being it, but that's not saying a whole lot with Brian Hoyer and Alex Tammy at your backup positions. I don't think he's going to be – I think he's a bust. What do you guys think? What do you expect for the Browns and Derek Carr? Another story is Tampa Bay Buccaneers running back Doug Martin to be medically cleared later this week, saying, quote, I feel great. My arm is about to get cleared this week. I'm just getting my strength back. It's been too long since I've been out of the game, end quote. And Martin suffered the season-ending injury in Tampa Bay's Week 7 loss to the Atlanta Falcons. And Buccaneers running backs Mike James and Bobby Rainey did a pretty solid job in Martin's absence. But Doug Martin, it's exciting for him to be back. I really can't wait to see what he can do. It sucked that he had to get hurt last season. It really wouldn't have done anything too much for the Buccaneers to win any more games, and just being bad last season. But Doug Martin is the running back you really want for your team. Not only just skill-based, but the way he presents himself on and off the field. You never hear him getting in trouble, getting in fights, never, being cocky, overconfident. He's just that quiet running back that knows he's got the skill, doesn't need to talk about it because he shows it on the field and just plays his game. And I'm really glad that, he's going to be able to be cleared, get back going. And the Buccaneers, you got to be pretty excited for your running back, committee. You got obviously Doug Martin, who you hope to be healthy this season and be able to play like he did in his rookie season. You also have Mike James, who did really, really good throughout his time. Fumbled a little bit, but he's got that speed on him. And Bobby Rainey, who I'm a fan of, coming out of Florida, he's got speed as well. So you've got a really good committee that Doug Martin can teach Mike James and Bobby Rainey to the development to get better as well. And you got all three of them healthy. You got a rotation set, depending on their offensive package that they got going. You're looking at a pretty, really good offense running wise. And you got to hope that your quarterback, whoever that may be starting of the season, can get the job done as well. So obviously, I see Doug Martin. It's crazy. He's only been in the league for 2 years, and it feels like he's got the veteran's mind. That he's got, I don't know. I see Doug Martin like he's already got like an 8-year NFL pro veteran's mind, yet he's only been in the league 2 or 3 years. So really exciting for Doug Martin to be cleared and get going. Another interesting story of the week was Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice getting married a day after being indicted, to the same woman he gave the 1-2 hit or quit and make change come out your pocket type of hit to his wife. But honestly, I don't. This is so Ray Rice. I'm questioning now. I'm questioning. I mean, we all questioned him after he hit his wife, knocked her out, and now you get married a day after you get indicted. It's just whoa, And I think the best way to put it, the way I feel, and I think a lot of people feel, is what newly signed Buffalo Bills linebacker Brandon Spikes, what he had to say about Ray Rice's marriage, saying, quote, "That's him trying to save his image. Duh. I don't see how anyone can respect him. Put your hands on a woman. The woman had your child. Someone should choke him out and see how he likes it." End quote. Brandon Spikes put it all together, what I believe everybody thinks right now of Ray Rice. I was a fan of Ray Rice. I'm not a fan of the Ravens offense. I always thought it was boring. But Ray Rice has talent, and even though last season was a pretty bad year, he can be one of the top running backs in the NFL. One of underline of. But to do what he did, and and then he gets married, really, and apparently this was talked about, the engagement and everything was planned for a while, and I don't know. I believe what Brandon Spikes had to say about trying to save his image, and really, how can you respect somebody that just, knocked out a woman, just put his hands on her, and having, his child, and I don't know, but Brandon Spikes put it all too well together. But that's it for the NFL news. Not a whole lot, too much, but it's obviously following DeSean Jackson, where he's gonna go. Kind of hoping San Diego Chargers can do something. Hopefully, DeSean, we could just tell him, hey, don't take money this year. Just take it the next few years. Please just sign with us. We can go far. But it probably won't happen. But anyways, opening day is today. I have to talk about Major League Baseball. It is today. Awesome amount of games going on. 13 games, 26 teams, all playing today. Very exciting. And I believe the first game starts in about an hour from now. Depending on what time you're listening to this, it's 12 or it's 10:30. What am I talking about? Anyways, first game starts at 12 Central. That is the Chicago Cubs versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. Gotta watch that game. But anyways, last night my Dodgers could not get the win versus the lonely Padres. Lost 3-1 thanks to 2 errors and Brian Wilson. Just not your night. It was just one of those games where it's just everything went wrong. But one thing I wanted to talk about, though. At first I was debating whether I should talk about this, but now I just feel like I should bring it up. Now, since the Dodgers have signed, a lot of people, and with the money that we put into people, we have developed a group called haters. And in that group, they hate on you for winning, for money that you have, and just pure jealousy. A lot of different things, all combined into one. Some, more than others. But anyways, I have nothing against the San Diego Padres, even though Carlos Quentin is, I can't really say it on air, but you know how I feel now about him. He didn't play last night, but the Padre fans were yelling during the game, here and there in the innings, would say, beat LA. They even made towels that said, beat LA. Now, one thing it's so funny is that we can just step into a stadium, and I say we as if I was part of the Dodgers. I'm saying as Dodger Nation, can step into the stadium and automatically not even have to play, not have to do anything, just step into the stadium, and already we have your mindset of just focused on beat LA. We're already in your head before we even play. So that's why I think my Dodgers are just, it's what's going to elevate us to get better. Last night was terrible, 3-1, 2 errors by Brian Wilson, and then another one by Adrian Gonzalez. It was a headache to watch the last few innings. But it's crazy to see how much people just have to just, even make towels about you. That's just, wow. But anyways, That was just a little rant. But anyways, Red Sox place outfielder Shane Victorino on a 15-day DL and recall Jackie Bradley Jr. 2 quick notes about that. 1, the season hasn't even started, and Shane Victorino is already on the DL. Are you kidding me? Shane Victorino, I have nothing against you. I had you on my fantasy team last year, and when you were healthy, you were hitting the ball, you were getting doubles, you were scoring runs, you're getting RBIs. That's heaven for a fantasy owner. But a lot of the times throughout the season, you were kind of placed on this thing called the DL, and you would be there for a very long time throughout the season. And the season hasn't even started, and Shane Victorino is already on the DL. Sucks for him because he's a talented player. Sucks for the Red Sox too because he's really good. But the other note I wanted to make is Jackie Bradley Jr. The Red Sox, I'm jealous. I wish the Dodgers, because apparently we have a huge outfield situation because everybody decides to get hurt as well. I would love to have Jackie Bradley Jr. I think there's so much potential in Bradley that I believe that he can be a really good outfielder. He's got the speed on him. He's not going to get you the big bombs or anything, but he's going to be that guy that gets those doubles, possibly triples because of his speed. He's going to be able to steal bases. I believe he's got the potential to be, in the low, maybe the 290s, maybe if you're lucky, 300 hit season, getting a few RBIs here and there and scoring a lot of runs. So for the Red Sox, this could be a blessing in disguise. Harry Bradley start the season. You never know what he can amount to. So good thing for the Red Sox, I think, with that. But what are your expectations for your team's season? It's opening day. Who are your teams? Who are you cheering for? How far do you think your team will go? If you're the Chicago Cub fan, I'm sorry. It's just you got to wait another 10 years or something. But anyways, what are your expectations on your team season? Again, my Dodgers, we're looking at World Series. And I'm not saying just getting there. I'm saying winning the World Series. And hopefully we can play better than we did last night. But the last thing we'll talk about is the Final Four. Final Four teams are in. Florida, UConn, Wisconsin, and Kentucky. Now, if you would have told me UConn and Kentucky midway through the season would have been in the Final Four, I would have bet some serious money, and I would have lost a lot of serious money because UConn maybe back in the past, yeah, and Kentucky back in the past, but the way these two teams played throughout the season, do they have the records on here? Dang, my bracket doesn't have the records. Dang. All right. Anyways, I would have been like, no, there's no way, because my bracket, I had Florida. I think a lot of people have Florida going to the Final Four. I had Michigan State. I think a lot of people had them going pretty far, if not winning it. San Diego State and Duke, and so much for Duke. Thank you, Duke. San Diego State, I thought they could do it. I thought they could. Wisconsin, I'm not, I knew they could make it pretty far. The teams that, in the Big Ten, they were able to play. They showed potential. But UConn and Kentucky, wow. Just wow. Final Four games are April 5th, and with the national championship on April 7th. So it's going to be awesome to see. Who are you hoping to make it that far? Do you have any teams, any of these Final Four teams, that you have them making it that far? Let me know in the comment section. That's it for today's show, guys. I will see you guys next Friday, or this Friday, Friday afternoon. Follow me on Twitter at @short_sports 24/7. Link is in the description. Become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. And if you're listening on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com, make sure you give it a like, share it. Let everybody know about this, and let's all grow together as a team, as a unit. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next show Friday afternoon. I'll see you guys then. I'm out. God first. God bless.